Alright, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about the guy from the 90s wrestling era. A lot of you guys might know who this is. Maybe not. This is actually Lex Luger. Lex, of course, was known as the Total Package, among other things. Lex, back in the day, was quite the athlete. He did a lot of things. Played in the Canadian Football League, played for the Packers for a season, played in the USFL for the Tampa Bay Bandits, Memphis Showboats, Jacksonville Bulls. So he's kind of a journeyman football player, but he's, of course, well known. Everybody knows Lex Luger as a total package in wrestling. Now, back in the heyday in the 90s, back when you had WCW, when you had WWF going head to head, he was one of the mainstays. WCW, he was a face for the most part. Kind of, I don't know if he ever was a heel. I think he might have been a heel, but here's a pic of him here with one of the British Bulldogs. Back in the day, this guy was known for his physique, hence the total package. Real name was Lawrence Larry Full. So no wonder he changed his name to Lex Luger. I can understand that. But he was a wrestler for about 20 years, 85 to 2005. Great athlete, obviously. Back in the day, I think he won the heavyweight title 3 times. In the 90s, everybody watched wrestling. So, he didn't have UFC wasn't what it is today. So if you wanted to watch anything related to combat, it was either NFL, boxing, or wrestling. And a lot of people got together on Monday nights or whatever. You watched wrestling because it was the Attitude Era. It was entertaining. Nowadays it's not what it used to be. I don't really watch it a whole lot anymore, if ever. I don't get cable anymore even. So it tells you how up to date I am. But there's another pic of him back in the day. Guy was known for his physique, strength, and power. So, as bodybuilding goes, that's not going to win any, a lot of shows. But as a guy walking down the street, that's a hell of a physique. So, I wanted to kind of touch on what where he's at now in his life. One of the main things that happened to Lex, a couple things. He got into some trouble with the law. First off, his career spiraled downward from drugs, alcohol, I believe, prescription drugs. Got caught, busted with some steroids. Let's see if we can find that in here. Legal problems. 2003, Luger was involved in a domestic dispute with Elizabeth. Now, if you're a wrestling fan of the 90s, late 80s, you know who Elizabeth is. He was the Macho Man. She hung out with the Macho Man, Randy Savage, kind of his girl. But in real life, Elizabeth was also involved with Luger. Now, Luger was a messed up dude back in the early 2000s. So, he got nailed for domestic abuse on Elizabeth. And Luger had a handgun, blah, blah, blah. Driving with suspended license. Crazy dude. And then 2003, also later, like half a month later, a couple weeks, whatever, Elizabeth died. Now remember, this is a tragic deal. She was a mess. They had a townhouse together. I think he was married at the time. And I don't know. But she died of an overdose of hydrocodone, Xanax, and vodka. Now, we all know that that's what kills people. That kind of shit kills a lot of famous people. And she was no different, unfortunately. Now, along with the drugs, they found, of course, they found anabolic steroids, Oxycontin, growth hormone, testosterone, and more Xanax. He was charged with 13 felony counts, drug possession. And he was actually on the hook for her death for a while there. So it was a bad deal. 2005, he was removed from a flight in Winnipeg, charged with violating his probation because he didn't get permission to leave the country. And he was detained in Hennepin County Jail. Man, I think that might have been Minneapolis. Anyway, he got 4 months in jail. And then the big thing that happened to Lex kind of changed his life. Like I said, this is pretty bad deal for Lex. I find a picture of him here. He's walking with a cane here. Recently, that's a semi-recent picture. He had a spinal issue. I think he had infection on his spine. So yeah, it really hammered him down. I think he's 58 years old now. So pretty sad. Here's another pic of him right here in a wheelchair. Yeah, pretty bad deal. He needed the wheelchair for a while, I believe. So it's 2007 this happened to him. He had temporary paralysis. He was in a quadriplegic state for nearly a month. During this time, I saw an interview that he did. He was promoting a new book as well. Wrestling with the Devil is the name of the book. True story of a world champion, professional wrestler. His reign, ruin, and redemption, with a foreword by Stinger. But anyway, he was promoting a book on this video that I watched today, and he found God during his stay in the hospital. He found God. So, but as early as here's another video here. 2015, he seems very aware of where, he talks like a normal guy, so certainly doesn't look like the old Lex Luger anymore. But that's to be expected. He's almost 60 years old, so I don't know if he's working for WWE Wellness Outreach right now, so he's doing stuff for the WWE with to helping people with nutrition and staying physically fit for the WWE, is my understanding. So he's doing better, which is good. Another, some more pics. Back in the day, here's a great pic right here. A guy had a killer physique. He was known for his physique and his wrestling abilities. Here's the book that he wrote. Understand, it's a pretty good read, actually. So that's pretty interesting. You can learn a lot from these guys. They been around. These professional wrestlers, man, you talk about living a hard life. A lot of these guys go right in the toilet, physically and emotionally, after wrestling or during wrestling towards the end of their careers. And a lot of these guys die young, of course, but yeah, good to see, he's still around and actually involved in wrestling somewhat. That's pretty cool. Before we feel sorry for him completely, I did look up his net worth. And I don't know if this is real or not, but according to this website, he's worth $10 million. I think this is relatively recent, so not sure. Hope maybe somebody can chime in on that deal. But so he's got a little bit of money. 10 million at 58, you can live pretty comfortably on 10 million. So that's probably an exaggeration of what he's worth now, but who knows? It's hard to say. If you watch this interview here, this is pwpicks.net. You can watch that video. Pretty interesting video about it, and an interesting article. Said that he was wheelchair bound, 2014. So he might actually be in a wheelchair in this video. I don't know. But yeah, man, another wrestler where the wrestling business took its toll on him. But those types of personalities tend to get involved in wrestling, and having access to the road and to the parties, etc., and that lifestyle only worsens that. So there's another pic of him walking with the cane. Yeah, this looks like a normal old dude now, which, if he's healthy and he can walk, He's probably counting his blessings. So